Microphone check 1 2 1 2. This is your host, not son, baby. And this is another episode of Swingers After Dark. You know, I was surfing the net and I saw an article about a bookstore doubling as a sex club. And I thought, wow, that's a novel idea. Like, that takes major ingenuity to flip a bookstore into a sex club. And that's not a bad idea because I could use like a library or a bookstore to act out my scenes for my erotic books. You understand me? I'm like, okay, I may have to do that. I may have to take up my own offer to flip a bookstore or a library into a fuck place. You feel me? Like, people have sex on buses and trains and planes and shit like that. But I'm like, why people don't talk about having sex at a Barnes and Noble or at a Borders or something or at a library? Like, why people don't talk about that? Like, you could get smart from getting brain. No pun intended. You feel me? Like, that's the true definition of getting head. Because when a chick gives me brain, I feel smart. Ow. But I'm just saying, I was surfing the net and I saw this YouTube clipping and it was about a bookstore being transformed into a place where people fuck. And guess what? I'm with the shits. Like, I want to get it in. I want to get it in at a bookstore. It's like, that's on my bucket list. Like, I want to bust that nut in a bookstore. You know, they say quiet at a bookstore. Well, I may have to like muffle her moans and sounds with my hand and say, bitch, shut up. You want to get us kicked out? You want to get us locked up? Like, I'm with it. I'm with the fantasy and the kinky shit. But not only I wanted to present to you like this controversial, clip. I also want to, show people the legalities of running a sex club or a swing club as far as not selling liquor. Like, when you go to a swing club, usually you bring your own bottle, you give it to the bar, and then they'll write your name on the bottle. And then, every time you want to sip, you will go to the bar and you give them your name and they'll pour your glass from the bottle that you brought. But I'm like, well, that's like for zoning issues. You cannot sell, for the most part, you cannot sell liquor at a swing club, at a sex club. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? They sell liquor at strip clubs. And not to dry snitch, but people have sex in the champagne room. Yes, people get it in the champagne room. So I'm like, what's the difference between a sex club, a swing club, and a strip club when people are fucking in all three? Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you would know that people get it in. It's like they get busy at strip clubs. Like, not all strip clubs. I'm saying for the most part, people get that nut, when they in that butt. Like, dudes, they get it in. And chicks, they have no shame because they get extra money from fucking at strip clubs. And that's why a lot of strip clubs don't like pimps. But that's a whole nother discussion. Back to the lecture at hand. So without further ado, I wanted to show you this controversy. Because like when it comes to strip clubs and swing clubs and sex clubs, it's all about like zoning. Like, a lot of owners of these establishments, they have zoning issues, like, especially if you throw, like, you have like a swing club or a sex club or a strip club next to a church, a residential area, or, a school, a public school, private school, or whatever the case may be. And it's like that's why you see a lot of sex clubs and strip clubs in isolated areas. You feel me? It's like, damn, why this place is in no man's land? It's because of zoning issues. You feel me? So without further ado, enjoy.
At a bookstore dealing in a lot more than books. We go undercover inside the suburban adult business and what our cameras caught when the lights went down.
It is a Fox Chicago investigation that turned up a shocking secret sex club inside a suburban bookstore.
Anna Devlantis is here with what she found out about the business and its ties to the mob. Anna?
Robin and Jeff, we first learned about the bookstore a few months back after getting tips about what was taking place inside. It seemed odd that the adult bookstore had a stage, a shower, and charged admission. But when our camera went in, we were even more shocked to see what was actually going on. We want to warn you, you may find some of the video too graphic for our younger viewers. From the outside, you might think it was just another nondescript adult bookstore. But this Melrose Park business is hiding a dirty little secret. Our undercover camera revealed people showing up here for something other than books.
Why is it here? It's not right.
I just say this building here is shady.
The video, or what we can show you of it, makes it clear the place is operating more like a sex club than a book club, and charging admission. An employee told our producer multiple rooms are devoted to group sex acts, like this room with the bed. He observed one woman with a line in front of her, and a transsexual performing acts on multiple people. Outraged neighbors are wondering why the place isn't shut down.
How come somebody hasn't gotten rid of it yet? I don't like the idea of having that in the neighborhood.
We wanted to ask Melrose Park Mayor Ronald Serpico how it's able to stay open and show him our video. We had a scheduled interview with the mayor to talk about the bookstore, but when we got here to Village Hall, he wasn't available for us. Someone in his office, however, did give us this statement. The statement reads, in part, our police have followed up on numerous complaints and even used undercover tactics. In an attempt to close the 15th Avenue bookstore, those efforts have proved fruitless thus far. The mayor did tell me on the phone his officers have gone in a dozen times to investigate and didn't find anything unusual. We went in one time, and you can see what we found. You're saying it's legal?
It is legal.
Attorney Joe Lopez represents Jeanette Urbanati, the owner of the bookstore. She runs the business with husband Robert Bobby Urbanati, a former Franklin Park police officer who did federal time for the operation of an illegal gambling business tied to the mob. The feds say he was operating as the cash man between mob bosses Anthony Centracchio and James Marcello.
There's signs all over telling people not to have sex acts inside the store.
Why would you have a sign up that says no sex acts?
Because I think that's pretty standard in that particular type of adult entertainment business.
What, a reminder not to have sex?
A reminder, yes. And I think it's a pretty standard warning you'll find just about at any adult entertainment center.
But when was the last time you heard of an adult entertainment place with a shower for the customers? Online chat rooms describe the activity from people who've been there, men looking for women or other men to go to the 15th Avenue bookstore to have sex. On Craigslist, personals from people arranging to meet for all kinds of scenarios with random partners at the bookstore.
If Melrose Park isn't taking any action, they obviously want this business to operate there.
Attorney Steve Greenberg provides legal analysis to Fox Chicago News. He says if nothing else, authorities could shut the place down for asking our producer if he wanted to buy alcohol.
A business that doesn't have a liquor license shouldn't be offering liquor for sale, and that's the easiest way to shut down a business, because you can go in on an emergency basis and say you're selling liquor when you're not supposed to, and basically padlock the door pending a further hearing.
We've learned the Sheriff's Department went inside and handed over possible violations for Melrose Park Police to investigate, but the business hasn't been slapped with any violations. We called Melrose Park Police, but they didn't return our calls. What does happen there?
Nothing happens there. It's a bookstore, just like any other private party room. People rent the room and they have their own party. Some people have balloons and cake, and other people might have all adults and liquor. It just depends.
Whatever's going on inside, you can see how it looks to families from the outside, across the street from a go-kart center.
Based on what the Sheriff's Department found and based on your investigation, I think that there's enough that someone should go in and investigate if they want to investigate. It's been done. New York did it in Times Square. Chicago's done it. Mayor Daley's been known to do it. Any mayor can really control. It's like a little fiefdom. Mayors are kings of their community, and they can do what they want in the community.
In his statement, the mayor also said, quote, we'll follow up on any complaint that offers even a hint of a legitimate violation of the law. Well, last week we called the mayor's spokesperson, urging him to take a look at our video, and today he called us back saying the mayor would like a copy to see if it can be used to help build a case against the bookstore and its owners. Robin and Jeff, he says he's taking it very seriously.
I'm sorry.
So
many questions.
No, I was just going to say, I presume zoning-wise that it's okay.
Well, zoning-wise, they said that they're fine. They don't have any kind of they don't have any kind of adult entertainment business type of, like a strip club type license for this facility. They really have a license that allows them to sell books and things like that. But they say that anything that happens after hours, a business can have a party after hours and they can charge admission. But they're not actually paying for the sex, is what they argue.
But they can't sell drinks, and the implication almost is that the a dozen times officers have been there, they would see no indication of any wrongdoing.
And Robin, they said they were back in there this weekend again. They didn't find anything. Obviously, the Sheriff's Department tells us they found something. They said they found liquor law violations as far back as 2008. They said they presented them to Melrose Park. They thought it was a slam dunk. Nothing so far has happened.
All right, we'll see what happens now.